art is not that deep. You can create meaningful art pieces linked to themes you care about and cherish. Art can be inspirational, can be educational, can be political. But can is different from must. There is no must in art itself. There are rules and techniques you should definitely follow in order to improve, and there are a set of requirements you have to respect when working as an artist. But art itself doesn't have to do anything rather than be there for us as a tool to express ourselves. Art is always here, and so is inspiration. But what is inspiration? Why don't I feel inspired? How do I figure out what inspires me? Am I uninspired or just lazy? How do I find inspiration? Hi, I am Veronica, aka Vespertiliu. I am an Italian comic books author, tarot and oracle deck creator, and your spooky art teacher.
It's me again, yours truly.
They often say opportunities are like trains to catch. Once one passes, it is gone. Well, inspiration is an opportunity that is always available and it's everywhere. We're going to break this video into a few chapters. First, we're going to see what is inspiration. Then we're going to explore a couple of reasons why we don't feel inspired. We are then going to talk about how to find out what inspires you specifically. We are going to answer the question, am I uninspired or just lazy? And finally, I'm going to give you some tips on how to find inspiration. So first, we're going to break down our idea of inspiration. What do you think inspiration is? Since very ancient times, inspiration has been considered something divine and God's given, something only a few chosen ones were blessed with and only in certain moments of their lifetime. A holy grail all artists of all sorts incessantly seek. In ancient Greek mythology and religion, they had the Muses, goddesses of inspiration for literature, arts, and science. When an artist succeeds in completing a good work, they might say, "The goddess of inspiration visited me," or again, "A demon tormented me into finishing my art piece." We relate inspiration to otherworldly presences, and we make inspiration belong to a world of gods and monsters. But truth be told, inspiration doesn't have to come from a deep consciousness, nor must serve a meaningful purpose. It is often the viewer that finds feelings, meanings, and emotions in an art piece. And that is the real power and the real beauty of a piece of art. I'll give you an example with one of my favorite artists ever, Maestro Giorgio de Chirico. In 1973, during a television interview, journalist Franco Simongini asked Maestro de Chirico questions about his creative process while he was painting the sun on the easel, Il Sole sul Cavalletto. Simongini would like de Chirico to share his deepest secrets, the meaning behind his masterpieces, his inspiration, but is left stunned and surprised by the answer of Maestro de Chirico. "Why did you put that chair there? Is it a childhood memory, a comfort memory?" "No, I put it there because it goes well with the composition. Painting is about contemplation. It is better to just look at it rather than look for meanings." De Chirico explains that in his creative process, he often just enjoys the act of painting. He's inspired by a lot of things, but not by their secret deep meaning and connection to him. It's just because those things are there and he's simply able to catch the inspiration from them. We can define inspiration as a force, a feeling, an energy that plants seeds as ideas, images, and thoughts in the mind of a creator, making them able to bring that seed to life through their unique, personal, creative process. What I noticed most people don't understand is that, as I said, inspiration is everywhere. It's in the book you are reading, in the color of the dress you wore yesterday, in the meal your colleague is eating today, in the shape of a cloud you saw while going to work. You get the idea. But if inspiration is everywhere, then why don't I feel inspired? The main problem, in my opinion, is that most of us think that inspiration should lead us to meaningful creations, or that inspiration is valid only if it instills in us the seed for a masterpiece. While, as I keep saying in my videos, art isn't about meanings, nor perfection or success. We let so many inspired things pass through our days just because we see them as meaningless, powerless, without potential. We are so worried about how our work will be judged that we start judging something potentially inspiring without giving it a chance to see what that thing could inspire us. A spoon is just a spoon. It can't inspire any masterpieces. Not necessarily. The question is not what it is, but what could be. During an interview, writer Neil Gaiman tried to explain his creative process starting from a funny question along the lines of, what if a werewolf bites a chair? From there, he starts spiraling into what could become a very interesting story. I'm quoting this to make you switch your attention from what is to what if. Spoon is just a spoon. Could be a character, could be a weapon, could be the shape of a spaceship. When we are kids, our imagination is wild and things like that come to us spontaneously. When we grow up, we start seeing the world in a more practical way, and we start looking at inspiration in a more practical way too. We forget what inspires us and focus on what could inspire something good, which is not the point. So in my experience, the only gods and monsters that can influence our relationship with inspiration can be found in ourselves. This could be some cultural reasons why we might not feel inspired. And I'd love to hear your take on this, but there are also emotional reasons. When we don't feel okay, we struggle with expressing ourselves. Of course, we struggle to see the good in our lives and in the world, for we are not okay in that moment. But we also might struggle expressing those bad emotions in a healthy way. It's perfectly normal. I too had to go through therapy to learn such things. So art is a tool for self-expression. But when we don't feel okay, we struggle to express the good and actually repress the bad. We often encounter such emotions while experiencing burnout or when we are in art block. There could be a couple ways to fight such situations. We can follow Ursula's advice from Kiki's delivery service. Could be you're working at it too hard. Maybe you should just take a break. Take long walks, look at the scenery, doze off at noon. Don't even think about flying, and then, pretty soon, you'll be able to fly again. Now replace flying with making art. Ursula advises Kiki to just take a break, and that is a very wise and useful advice. Careful though, taking a break is not meant for us to just forget about the problem, but it's meant to heal us and make us able to see all the inspiration around us again. During said break, we have to rebuild our ability for self-expression again. So we can take a break and do something else. Make sure we feel better and ready to express ourselves again. Reset, refresh, recharge, and restart. We might think we start feeling bad the moment we can't find inspiration anymore, while if you pay close attention, you'll notice it's the other way around. We start losing our ability to find inspiration the moment we start feeling bad. Now, taking a break is the more beginner-friendly way to fight the lack of inspiration when we are feeling down. If you want to try something else, here's another take. Artists often say inspiration also comes from sadness, anger, despair, or even anxiety. So if you struggle with expressing your emotions in moments of difficulty, try expressing those emotions through art. Channel those bad feelings from destruction to creation. And the best part is that, again, while the act of making art when we are feeling a certain way has a certain weight and meaning, the creation itself doesn't have to be meaningful at all, nor pretty. Then some might see in it your emotions, and some others might look at it and see a masterpiece, but that is up to the viewer, not to the creator. This way, not only you'll find a therapeutic way to make art, but making you feel better again, you'll be able to see all the possible inspirations around you again. Now, how do I figure out what inspires me? This is a very good question that has such a simple answer, and yet it's not that easy to start applying it. What you like is what inspires you. What moves you is what inspires you. What makes you feel involved is what inspires you. You read a book and you feel inspired to make a drawing about that. You hear the news and you feel inspired by the need to take action. As I said in the beginning of this video, art can be inspirational, can be educational, can be political, and all those things relate to who you are. I like monsters, bats, the grotesque. I look for those things in my daily life. I find them in books, in movies, in music, in the way I dress, in the blood red color of the strawberries I eat in my breakfast. Without knowing, I surround myself with inspiration by simply enjoying what I like. Just to make a simple example, ask yourself, what is your favorite color? Why is it? Is it because it links to a special memory, or is it how it makes you feel when you look at that specific color? Is there a flower in that color, or a particular object you like? There's a kid crying. How many things you can find in that color today? In how many media can you find it? Is it named in the lyrics of a song? Is it the main color of the lights of a movie? Is it in your favorite painting, perhaps? Those are all possible ways to analyze what could inspire you specifically. Giving yourself permission to be inspired to make art is different from looking for inspiration to make good art. At first, it's going to be so hard because the voices of expectations and perfectionism will be upon you. But day by day, let's shut them down and listen to what we want to create. For the sake of bringing that creation to life, for the sake of expressing ourselves through art. But if inspiration is so easy to find in our daily life and ourselves, then why do some artists feel something divine upon them when kissed by the gift of inspiration? Of course, everyone has their beliefs, their religion, their idea of spirituality, just as some others don't believe in anything. And to jump back to the divine history of inspiration, some of us might have felt such blessings every once in a while. But I have elaborated a personal thought to bring back to earth the origin she's crunching, to bring back the origin of inspiration to earth. Artist Rosaleen Norton became famous as the Witch of King's Cross. She had a coven and was devoted to the Greek god Pan. Her art was often called profane, and she actually played with this definition for quite some time in her art pieces. Now, we could say the god Pan had blessed the artist with the inspiration to create her haunting art pieces. But I think it all came from Norton herself. She devoted her art to what inspired her the most: her religion, her spirituality, her magic. She felt all of that so deeply, it was part of her. And that's where inspiration came from. Some of you might have heard about the Stendhal syndrome. Quoting from Wikipedia, Stendhal syndrome is a psychosomatic condition involving rapid heartbeat, fainting, confusion, and even hallucinations, allegedly occurring when individuals became exposed to objects, artworks, or phenomena of great beauty. One thing to consider in this is that doesn't affect everybody. We all can say objectively when a piece of art is beautiful, but then we all have different favorite artists. And most of the time, it doesn't have anything to do with beauty. We viewers associate certain meanings and emotions to certain things. And while sometimes we can't find anything crazy while looking at something objectively beautiful, we feel a certain way when we look at something we find beautiful. To notice such feelings when looking at something can also help us find out what we find inspiring. Oh wow, I still don't feel inspired though. Am I uninspired or just lazy? First off, being lazy is not a crime. We live in a society that wants us to be productive 24/7 and then wants us to take care of ourselves. And what I personally think is that they are teaching us back how to be lazy. So being lazy can be self-care. I said what I said. With that said, I'll ask you a couple of questions now. Do you want to draw but feel like you can't draw? Or do you just want to do something else? Do you feel scared of drawing because you feel the pressure of expectation, perfectionism, and success on you? Or do you just feel tired and need to take a nap? There is a difference. Of course, if you are a professional, this is work. And we have to draw even in those days where we feel like we can't draw. And I made last video also about this. But if drawing is simply your great passion and hobby, and today you don't want to draw, then don't. I am also a singer. I used to study to become a musical performer, then I didn't and I became a professional artist. And sometimes I still sing, but if I don't feel like singing, I just don't. But I really don't think that's the case with you all watching this video. I strongly believe you all want to draw, to improve, to make art, and what stops you most of the time is fear. Fear of expectations, fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough. So if that's your case, you are not lazy. You just need to heal yourself right now. So you can jump back to the previous chapters of this video and just take a break or channel your emotions into inspiration. Now that we have all of this clear, how do we find inspiration? At first, it's going to be hard to see it all around you. We have to retrain our eyes. I'm now going to give you a simple task a day for a week to restart the engine of your imagination. The main goal of these exercises is to look, notice, and daydream by asking yourself, what if? Day 1, your favorite color. Look for it during your day and ask yourself a bunch of what ifs. Is that color the color of the sky? What if it was the color of tree branches? Day 2, look for something small and picture it big. A pen, a spoon, a hair clip, a charm. What if those things were big? What could be the use then? Day 3, feelings. During your day, try notice if you feel a certain way while looking at a certain thing. Of course, I don't want you to experience standout syndrome in order to do this task. Just notice if when you look at something you go, oh wow, that is pretty, that is cool. Day 4, look for something big and picture it small. Same exercise of day 2, but it's the other way around. A street lamp, a statue, even a building. What if those were small objects to use in our daily lives? Day 5, picture it in your head. On day 5, I would like you to do a little experiment. Read something or listen to something, and when you find something interesting, try to put it out of your head. If you picture things through images, you can try sketch it out. If you picture things with words, write those words down. Day 6 is research. On day 6, I want you to take all the informations you have collected in the 5 days before and try look on the internet or through books or wherever you like for things that inspire you specifically. And day 7, as usual, is rest. And with that, let's restart the engine of our imagination again by finding inspiration everywhere, in and around us. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope it can help you rediscover inspiration all around you. If you have any suggestions or requests for future videos, please feel free to write them in a comment below. I will see you very soon with more art tips. In the meantime, let's make art. Bye!